What's up, Fairbanks, Alaska? Lane Haymont here with Ann Rose, Jackie Lipton for Quelling Your Query Conundrums, and that may be the first time I've ever said it properly. Um, it's been a while, but we're glad to be back. Hope everyone had a happy New Year. I was about to say Halloween, but that was months ago.
Too. I mean, that too, though. Like, maybe they did have a happy Halloween. So
Yes.
we really do hope that they have that.
This year, we're going to have a much more scheduled event. Our AMAs are going to be the last Wednesday of every month at 7 p.m. Eastern. Anne is nodding her head. So is Jackie.
Yep.
And let's start off with this year's first Quelling Your Query Conundrum. Ann Rose's baby.
Sure, yes. Well, yeah, welcome back everyone to 2025, and thank you for joining us for our first episode this season. I don't know if this is season, or I don't know what we're calling these things, but anyway, for this year, for Quelling Your Query Conundrum. So we have a query here that was sent to us that I haven't read before, so I will probably mispronounce everything. We're just going to go with it. So work with me here, friends. Here we go. Dear Ann Rose, Edric Quill is an unlucky 12-year-old with a fondness for adventure stories until he is tasked with the ultimate quest. He must find the magical clock his grandfather stole and return it to Father Time's island before time ceases to exist. Moana Meets Title is the 61,000-word middle grade fantasy. Title will appeal to readers who enjoy the adventure of Addison Cook's series and the magical setting of the Stormkeeper trilogy. Edric loves living all over the world with his older sister and doctor parents. When his grandfather, a famous explorer, passes away, he leaves his estate to Edric's family on the beautiful island of Cali. Edric thinks it's a dream come true. Who wouldn't want to hike through the rainforest, snorkel the reefs, or cliff dive into the ocean? But life on Cali is more like a nightmare. Sailors are plagued by mysterious sickness, strange voices haunt Edric's dreams, and rumor has it that his grandfather was cursed. When Edric befriends the mayor's daughter, she introduces him to a mysterious local who tells Edric the truth. His grandfather stole the clock that controls time, and now time is dying. Edric must solve the clues his grandfather left behind and battle the natural forces of the jungle to find the clock before time comes to an end. Then there is a bio and personalization, and that's it. The end.
I like the idea of time dying and his grandfather stealing the clock, but why would his grandfather leave the clues? And I'm putting that out there before we get going because we usually go through it line by line, not line by line, but
yeah,
categorically,
right.
chronologically,
yes.
The way it was sent to us, yes.
Yes.
Could I ask? I may have missed this because I was away over the break and am jet lagged. Is this adult or kid lit? Because I didn't recognize the comp titles, so I don't know.
Middle grade.
It said middle grade fantasy.
Middle grade. Thank you.
Yes.
I remember.
Okay. So we will go through the first paragraph and talk about that. So Edric Quill is an unlucky 12-year-old with a fondness for adventure stories until he is tasked with the ultimate quest. He must find the magical clock his grandfather stole and return it to Father Time's island before time ceases to exist. Moana Meets Title. In this 61,000-word middle grade fantasy, Title will appeal to readers who enjoy the adventure of Addison Cook series and the magical settings of the Stormkeeper trilogy. So that's the first paragraph. So we get a little bit of comps, which I admit to Jackie, I don't recognize these comps right off the bat. Maybe if I saw the covers, I might recognize them, but I would have to do a Google search myself. They don't immediately spark.
Why is he unlucky, and what does that have to do with anything? Because it doesn't come up again, I don't think.
That's just who he is, Lane. He's just unlucky, okay? I can't tell you.
My gut feeling is that there's a little too much information about the plot in this paragraph, because then there's something, the second paragraph kind of breaks the train of thought and then it goes back to description of the plot. And I always think about this in terms of the cook, the hook, and the book. And I'm trying to figure out, is this the paragraph about the book or is it the paragraph about the market?
I think this is supposed to be like the hook sentence and like the hookiness, like of it, like, so the hook is that he's this kid that has to basically find a clock before time ceases to exist. That's the hook of the, so it's trying, I think that's what it's attempting to be.
I just think this could be pithier. I think this opening paragraph could be a little shorter. And the other thing that confused me about it, and I should say, because I didn't say what Lane did, that I actually really like the concept. The concept is very, very cool. Anne is on the phone. But one thing that did confuse me is when there were the comp titles and it was Moana meets title of this book. I mean, the point of a comp title is it's X meets Y, and X and Y are two existing things, and your book is being comped to both of them. So if it is, in fact, this is like Moana, but different, then what is the Y here? What is the second thing you're comping? Anne can't comment on that because she is currently on the phone.
But I noticed that too, because it did say Moana meets title, and I was like, title what? The title of the book? I mean, how can you say it's Moana meets the title of the book if the title of the book hasn't come out yet and we don't know what it is? So is it literally just Moana?
And that would be fine. I mean, you can comp to one thing, but I think if you comp to one thing, you then have to have readers, or people who enjoyed Moana will enjoy blah, 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 because. And
I agree with that. I mean, why would we enjoy it? I mean, I didn't see Moana. So
I am tortured by Moana because one of my children, there's a particular song that she likes to play over and over again because she knows it gets on my nerves. It's nice to listen to the one time, but when you have to listen to it 500 times, it's a bit much.
Musicals. Everything's a musical now.
So what else can we talk about while Anne is on the phone? You could talk about all the great and exciting things happening at the Tobias Agency in 2025.
And I'll have to cut it because Anne's...
I know, I'm so sorry. But it's for my kid's appointment later, and if I don't take it, then they'll cancel the appointment, and I couldn't have them cancel the appointment. So I missed everything. So say everything again.
Yeah, because you seemed super excited, so...
Oh my goodness, man. What did we say? I don't know. I said two things, but I can't remember one of them. But Lane and I were just talking about the comps, and it's Moana meets the title of this book. And it's like it should be X meets Y, and those are two existing things that you are comping to, because it doesn't make sense to say X meets your title because no one has seen your title yet.
That's fair. That's absolutely fair. Okay, let's move on to the next paragraph and pretend like I didn't just take a break to answer a phone call. Sorry.
I mean, cut it out, so.
Perfect. Mom duties. So, okay, Edric loves living all over the world with his older sister and doctor parents. When his grandfather, a famous explorer, passes away, he leaves his estate to Edric's family on the beautiful island of Cali. Edric thinks it's a dream come true. Who wouldn't want to hike through the rainforest, snorkel the reefs, or cliff dive into the ocean? Okay, anyone?
I don't want a middle grader cliff diving into the ocean, but that's just my inner parent coming out. My gut feeling was there was a tad too much backstory there. I want to get to the plot of the book, which makes me wonder what the pacing and the word count is like in the actual manuscript. Are we getting a lot of backstory, or how quickly are we getting to the action?
I don't know.
Same.
That's a good question. Yeah, I think here we're getting there's no conflict. There's a lot of information about who this is and like Jackie said, the backstory of it, but not really much about the actual plot of this particular story. So I think you could probably slim this down a little. All right. So, but life on Cali is more like a nightmare. Sailors are plagued by mysterious sickness. Strange voices haunt Edric's dreams, and rumor has it that his grandfather was cursed. When Edric befriends the mayor's daughter, she introduces him to a mysterious local who tells Edric the truth. His grandfather stole the clock that controls time, and now time is dying. Edric must solve the clues his grandfather left behind and battle the natural forces of the jungle to find the clock before time comes to an end.
I'm hopping in to say there is literally no evidence that time is dying. We get a lot of backstory. We're told time is dying, but how does that affect anything?
That's a good question. Yeah, I mean, because we're like, sailors are, how is the time affecting sailors with sickness, strange voices, like, and grandfather being cursed? Like, how are all of those things connected to time? I'm not sure I see the connection. Not saying that there can't be one, but I don't necessarily.
Yeah, I agree that I was actually reading that earlier stuff about the sailors as kind of backstory where we're losing the focus on the protagonist and the plot. But you're right, there probably is a link. It's just not obvious on the face of the query letter.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think we can assume, yes, there is a link. I mean, sure, there is, but I mean, we can only go based on what we have here on the query itself. So
yeah,
I don't see a link.
Yeah, I do think too, and you know, Lane did mention this. We may have to start this recording again.
Yeah, I'll just cut around Anne.
Okay.
Yes.
And I was going to say that I was reiterating your earlier comment that I really do love the idea of time stopping and the grandfather being involved and the family connection, because it immediately tells you why it is this protagonist's story, what stake the protagonist has in it, what responsibility he may feel for it. But I do think I agree that we do need more sort of connective tissue between the different parts in the plot.
Excellent.
Absolutely.
All right. So, would you want to see it if you were up into queries, Jackie?
I would.
There you go. So, author of this amazing query letter, it might not have been perfect, but it did do its job. It did raise some interest. We do things that you can do to maybe help elevate this. But overall, it sounds like a cute story, and you're definitely on the right track.
Yep.
So, Anne, how about you pitch us that book you were just holding up before? Was it Amalia John's?
No, Amalia John's book her book came out last year.
Sigh. Okay, well, leap into the pitch because we're at that point.
So, thank you everyone for joining us on this episode of Quelling Your Query Conundrums. And if you're looking for an amazing book to read that did catch our interest as a query, this beautiful book called First Love Language by Stephanie Valentine is coming out next week. So be on the lookout for that. It's a YA rom-com that uses the 7 love languages. 7? I think there's 7. 5 love languages. I don't know. There's love languages and there's fake dating and there is an adorable boy and a girl and boba tea and oh my gosh, you're going to love it. So definitely go pick it up. And if you have a query that you're conundruming about, then you should send it to us. Email below. Right, Lane?
Yes.
Yes, you should. And we actually were also talking about oh, yes, Jackie.
No, you're going to say it now.
I was going to say, if you have had a query that you've used previously and never didn't get a good response, maybe what wasn't working, send it to us too. We'll be happy to review it on air and see if there's something that we can help point out for you. And that's about it. So anything else from the team?
Don't forget to check out our socials, the Tobias Agency on Twitter, the Tobias Literary Agency on Instagram and Bluesky and Facebook. We'll put those links below. And I think that's it.
All right.
Sounds
you heard
good.
it from him. So that's Lane Haymon and Jackie Lipton and Ann Rose. That's me. And this is another episode of Quelling Your Query Conundrum. So hope you come and join us again.